All right, wonderful. Looks like we are live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Just wanted to remind you guys, you are turning into the SRU Spotlight. We've got very special guests tonight to highlight Caitlin and Tom Lombardo. I'm going to bring them up in just a minute here. Guys, and the goal here is to connect with you, the SRU members, share your success, spotlight, your journey for others, and hopefully it answers questions and inspires others as well. Our goal here at the Storage Rebellion is obviously to encourage, educate, and empower you guys. Without further ado, let me find my wonderful guests here. We'll get them live. All right, guys, stick with us here. This is going to be a good one. I'm excited. These two have just been rocking and rolling since the day I met them. This is going to be very, very cool. Who do we got here? What's going on, Mike Perkins? Hey, there they are. This worked. Look at
Hey
that.
there. Can you hear us all right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You guys sound great. How are you?
Nice. Doing well. How are you?
Very well. Thanks. Tom, how was your day, buddy? I know you rushed home for this. I appreciate you.
It was good. It was good. A little snowy on the way back, but it was all right.
Oh, man. You guys got that stuff up there, right? That's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough. All right, guys. Well, listen, I know who you are. I'm excited for you to share your journey. But why don't you go ahead and just take 1 to 2 minutes and just do a quick intro, name, where you're from, quick backstory.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm Caitlin.
I'm Tom.
We live in a tundra right now. We're in Rochester, New York, upstate. And yeah, quick background. I grew up in a restaurant, essentially. My parents owned a fine dining French restaurant that later transformed into a catering company. So I quite literally grew up in the restaurant industry, was involved in that my entire life, throughout college. And then I went on to get my master's in landscape architecture, actually. That's what I do for work. I'm a landscape architect. I'm also a merger and acquisition consultant, which is actually kind of a new career path for me, something that I've been transitioning into for the past two-ish years now.
Yeah, and after high school, I went to college without a real plan. I just did it because I thought that was the next step. I switched my major a handful of times, and the path never got clearer for me. So after 3 years, I decided to leave, and I went into the restaurant industry to chase my passion of being a chef, and that's where I met Caitlin. I've since left the restaurant industry, and now I work in construction. I'm a plumber, and I do new construction plumbing.
Okay, perfect. So we both have W-2s. We're both rocking careers, and somehow, some way, finding time to find success in self-storage. Let's go into why you got into self-storage in the first place.
Yeah, so we both knew that we wanted to work towards something greater than what our W-2s currently offer. Like I mentioned, my parents, they owned their own business, so growing up in that environment, and now having to report to someone, it sucks. I hate it. And, the idea of trading our time, effort, and energy to make someone else and someone else's company more successful versus making ourselves and our family more successful just never sat right with me. It still doesn't sit right with me. So we turned to real estate. We looked into fixing and flipping and short-term rentals. And I know a lot of people have really great success with it, but when we looked into it, we realized it was going to take a lot longer for us to reach the level that we wanted to be at. So yeah, we didn't really go down that path. We kind of pivoted and looked into small business acquisitions, which highly recommend taking. Cody Sanchez has a really great course, a good intro course to small business acquisitions. And we started investing in laundromats as a possible business venture. Really similar process as you would go about finding storage. Creating your list of laundromats in the local area and finding out who the decision maker is and reaching out to them, cold call, cold email. We met with a lot of owners in person, and Really great learning experience, navigating conversations with potential sellers and learning how to underwrite and negotiate and talk about seller finance. And long story short, we came close to purchasing a few laundromats, but those that made sense numbers wise, it just didn't make sense location wise. We kind of exhausted all of our laundromat opportunity locally, and came together and we're like, all right, we got to pivot to something else here. What is it going to be? I reached out to a fellow rebel, Chris Lawrence, he's also from Rochester, and I follow him on social media and was seeing the success that he was having with storage, and reached out to him, and he referred us to the Storage Rebellion, which obviously we joined and fell in love with the community and just crushed the content that Mike Wagner puts out. His educational content is awesome, and love how he breaks it down into like digestible bite-sized pieces. And watching the success that other rebels were having was really encouraging, and we knew that storage, if done right, would give us the life that we want. And yeah, just to be clear, we're not trying to be the richest people in the room. We're just after time freedom, the ability to do what we want, when we want, with who we want, where we want. That's super important to us, and especially, we're considering starting a family soon. So yeah, that's time freedom is important.
Yeah.
Tom, did you have anything you wanted to add to that? That why?
I think she kind of said it all there.
That's really interesting that you sort of, to me, took a different angle. Like you were looking at businesses to buy, where I feel like a lot of us are looking at real estate investing kind of thing, and then we realize that we're buying a business when it comes to storage, where it seemed like you came a different angle. You guys were prepared to buy a business, and maybe just needed a little bit of guidance into what type of business that was.
Yeah,
Chris Lawrence is an awesome dude. He is in my my monthly squad call.
Nice.
And yeah, it's awesome that I get to connect with him monthly. So that's cool that you know him from snowy Rochester as well. That's good stuff. All right, so you guys are working your way out of a W-2. That's the goal, that time freedom, right? Just working for yourselves, doing your own thing. You've chipped away at that success, haven't you? Can we dive into some of that? Yeah, let's dive into some of the recent successes you guys have had.
Yeah, cool. So just briefly, a little backstory. We joined Storage Rebellion in December of 2023, and our initial goal was to acquire one facility in the first 12 months. It didn't matter where it was or the size of the facility. We just wanted proof of concept and to be able to say, like, all right, we can do this. And we had a few facilities under contract throughout the year, but they all fell apart in due diligence. And so we're getting a little bit discouraged, and we just kept pushing. And we're very proud to say that this past October, 10 months in, we closed on our first facility. The facility is in Western Tennessee. It's approximately 11,000 square feet. It's a classic mom and pop. It's mismanaged. It was value add. The owner, he was a very sweet 87-year-old man. His wife actually operated it, but she had passed away recently, and he took over operation, and he was mostly operating it as an obligation, not really as like a real business venture. And we got the lead by cold calling. Caitlin actually is the one who called and got the manager on the phone, and she started talking to the manager and said, hey, we're looking to buy a facility. Is the owner looking to sell? Is it a possibility he wouldn't mind talking with us about? And the manager said, I don't really know. I don't really think he's looking to sell, but I can certainly leave a note for him. And when you hear that from someone who's the manager or just answering the phones, you're like,
sure.
We'll probably
you're holding your breath.
This. Yeah. But the next day he called Caitlin back and he was like, hey, I'm looking to sell. Where do we go from here? How does this work? And they just started talking about it. He gave Caitlin all the information that she needed to work up a price range. And the next day she gave him that price range. And fortunately for us, he decided to go with the lowest option because he just felt like it was the wrong thing to do to take the highest offer. So we got that facility at the number that he decided to go with. We got that facility at a 10 cap for what it was performing at the time, which was about 70% physically occupied and somewhere like low 40s financially occupied. There was a lot of people who didn't pay, a lot of people who were squatting, and the people who did pay, their rent was about $30 less than what the competitors next door were charging for that unit type. So we knew we had a good opportunity with this facility.
This was the first facility that, you know, it was a good deal. We were working through due diligence, everything was checking out, and it was an emotional roller coaster just because, you know, we didn't want anything to go wrong, but, you know, we also didn't want to buy a dud. We wanted to do our due diligence. So upon site visit, we learned that there was quite a bit of competition. There's a lot more facilities on the ground than what was shown online. And then we learned that some of these facilities were offering half off first month special, and which, you know, we all know that's not good. And, you know, using Mike Wagner's 7 square foot of storage per person, it was technically considered, you know, oversaturated to be in a saturated market. So we left that site visit pretty discouraged, but we knew we had a good deal price wise. So we're like, how can we make this work? We dug in a little bit deeper. We called all those facilities that didn't show up online and realized that they're pretty full / filling up. But we still kind of want to like hedge our bet, so to speak. So we went back to the seller. We were really upfront and honest with him and said, hey, you know, there's a lot more competition here than originally anticipated. It'd really help us out if you could do seller financing. You know, this was something that he did not want to do in the beginning of the conversations, but, you know, we established rapport. We met him in person. We went to his house. We had lunch. I've had what feels like over 100 conversations with him on the phone that, you know, he really liked us. He really trusted us, and he agreed to it. So that really helped us out a whole lot. And I'll never forget, like a couple weeks after closing, him calling. He still calls me to this day, but him calling and saying, like, I'm so happy with how everything's going. I'm so happy you called us out of the blue that day. I'm so happy we sold to you. You know, if I had more facilities to sell you, I would. Which I just I love hearing that.
Yeah,
sure.
I will say that you know, we technically bought an oversaturated facility, but it's 100% full right now, 99% full, and that happened in less than 3 months. Yeah. So, yeah, everything's been going great for that.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations on that. That is a huge win, and there's so many nuggets of gold just in what you guys just described. So I hope for those of you listening or watching the replay, maybe back up to my question and run through that answer again and make sure you're taking notes like I did. You guys mentioned, I mean, I think you mentioned a couple of roadblocks, some oversaturation, maybe that would lend to some fears of going into some things. You mentioned having some deals fall apart in due diligence. So some roadblocks that maybe you guys have faced since beginning this self-storage journey, since, you know, joining the rebellion, some of the roadblocks maybe that you guys feel you faced and how you've overcome them, whether it was for this specific deal or any others that you've worked on. And I don't have a dog, so I hope that's it. That's you guys, or we're hacked somewhere.
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Yeah, that's the roadblock, honestly, is our dog.
There you go.
No, so I would say, yeah, the biggest roadblock is honestly just getting started and getting over ourselves. It sucks getting started. You've got to make cold calling and underwriting a part of your daily habit. And that was the biggest challenge for us, and I feel like for a lot of people. I remember in the beginning, like getting started in this and stumbling my way through conversations with people and having a ton of awkward phone calls and just honestly bad phone calls and talking to some really mean owners and just getting real discouraged and down on myself, thinking like, man, this is never going to happen. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done this. Why would someone sell to me? And even if they, you know, wanted to, how would I even go about navigating price and like negotiating and all that? So that was a big, like, the limiting belief and just the struggle of, again, just making a part of your habit that was a big roadblock. And the only way through that roadblock is just by doing it over and over and over again. The more you do it, the more comfortable you are with having a bad conversation. Those bad conversations aren't bad. It's laughable sometimes. And then you just get comfortable with and confident with talking to sellers. I could have easily, after 25 to 50 calls that weren't successful, just like given up and came back to Tom and said, all right, we got to pivot to something else. But that's not what's going to get you a storage facility. And just having the let's go mindset of the only way to get a facility is by talking to other owners. Just having that mentality to push through is super important. And when first getting started, I had to have everything perfectly situated at my desk and my script right in front of me and silence in the background. And now, after doing it over and over and over again, I don't care where I am. I could be driving, the dog can be barking, house could be on fire. I don't care. I know that I just need to talk to sellers. It doesn't matter what's going on. So I guess, moral of the story is just keep grinding. And I feel like a lot of folks make it look really easy, especially in the Rebellion. There's great success that's being had, but you don't know what's going on in the background. There's quite a grind that's happening, and I know you know it. And yeah.
I'm gonna just piggyback on what she said and kind of hammer the cold calling is always the biggest thing for me. When we first started doing this, cold calling was really hard for me to start doing because it's kind of against my personality. I'm not the most outgoing person. And when we first started, I had a goal of 70 calls a week, and I would create an avoidance towards calling just because I didn't like to do it, and it felt very unnatural. And come Saturday, I had a bulk call session I would have to do 50, 60 calls because I only got a handful done during the week. And, for something that you don't like to do, it's very mentally taxing to do it. And I would only get a handful done on Saturday as well. So I'd be leaving dozens of calls on the table every single week. And for me to get over that, I just broke it down. I took my 70 calls and turned it to 35 a week. And every day, Monday through Friday, it's 2 call sessions, one in the late morning, one in the early afternoon. And the late morning is 4 calls. The early afternoon is 3 calls. And come Saturday, I have all my calls done for the week, and it opens me up to be able to actually do the things I can't normally do because of my W-2, all the back end things. So it's just all about breaking it down into bite-sized pieces. And recently, Ken Holmes, on our last call, I believe last month, said that the more you pick up the phone, the lighter it gets. And I really believe that. That's a great phrase.
He is a wise one, isn't he? That
Yeah.
Ken Holmes. I'll tell you, we could probably just have a T-shirt company with all of his little quotes and phrases. I think that he brings to us. That's fantastic. Do you think that you were more comfortable cold calling were you guys doing emails or any kind of actual direct mail campaigns, or was it just specifically cold calling?
Yeah, so when we built out our list, we would send each facility we found an email, and then we would go through and kind of pick the facilities we thought, with an older owner or a place where we wanted to be, just kind of cherry picked what we wanted and then go from there. But just email and phone calls. Yeah.
Okay. And how far is the facility that you closed on? How far is that from your house?
I think when we left, Google Maps said 15 and a half hours, but it took us about 17 to get there.
Okay. So I just wanted to ask you that because I know that a lot of people, there's 2 ways to look at that. I have guided people myself and said, stick in your backyard, look local. And I'm sure you guys were not opposed to buying something right in your backyard, but you go where the deals are, right? So if you've expanded that far, and the point really was just, yes, my first facility was 850 miles away. Same thing. So it can be done. It doesn't have to be right in your backyard, or some people maybe think that they live somewhere where it's too expensive, and or they're just afraid to not be able to see that facility every day. At least for my first one, and that's not the case. Do you feel like you have good control over your operations as far as your boots on the ground, call center, and security?
Yeah, our boots on the ground is actually the manager that Caitlin spoke with on the phone to acquire the facility, and she's done a great job. She already had a rapport with everybody there. She works across the street at a car lot, and she's a very sweet Southern lady, and she does kind of whatever we ask of her, and she does a very, very good job. And
Very nice.
we have a lot of people who do clean outs, and we just have a good network of people down there.
That's what it takes right there. All right, guys, if you could leave members with a trick, tip, or piece of advice, what would that be?
I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but you just have to grind. You have to just keep moving forward. I know it's cliche, everyone kind of says it, but it's really what you have to do. Is you just have to just keep your eye on the target and move forward. You might not be getting the wins or the successes that you want right now, but if you keep working on it, they will come. I'd be lying if I said I never had any doubts about this process. 10 months might not seem like a long time, but in that time frame, it kind of felt like an eternity for us to get this first deal. But we kept pushing ahead, and now we're starting to see the fruits of our labor. And once you get one facility, it seems like the leads start to come faster, and they come in bunches. But
they're not coming. We're putting in the effort.
Yes.
But yeah,
it feels as though they're happening faster and they're happening more in bunches. But it's just because of the muscle memory we have, the systems we created, and the conditioning of, I don't like cold calling, but I'm going to do it because now it's just a part of my daily routine. It's just, the seeds that we planted a year ago, from calling and someone saying, not right now, maybe in 6 months, we can reach back out and it might be a positive lead, or maybe they reach out to us. And it's just, just grinding it out and continuing to call and do what we need to do to get another facility.
That's amazing, because you're absolutely right. I mean, it probably starts to feel like the deals are just showing up. They're just coming in like what, but you planted those seeds all way back then. You put in that work and you didn't give up, right? You gave it time. Listen, I'd be lying if I don't have doubt. And some of this, right? I mean, it's not, that's not reserved to just, new people. I promise you that doubt is there.
Nice.
But with the community and the support and proof of concept, obviously that doubt goes away, but doesn't stop it from creeping in every now and again. So but awesome people like you definitely give me energy and recharge me to keep moving forward. So I appreciate you guys taking your time here today. Why should other community members consider joining you and others inside this wonderful community called the Storage Rebellion? So somebody's outside, they're looking at this and they're wondering, gee, should I, gee, shouldn't I? And I've had that conversation with many people.
Yeah, definitely join. Being involved in storage, whether you're an investor or a wholesaler or owner operator or whatever, it can feel kind of strange and isolating, especially when your friends, family, they're not involved in storage. So I find it amazing to have a space to geek out and just talk freely about storage.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the Rebellion, it's just such a positive community. There's always someone there that's cheering you on or providing insights, tips, tricks. You can learn from other people's mistakes, which is incredible. And like the golden goose egg of the Rebellion is the networking aspect that I don't know if people are taking advantage of it, but it is amazing. And, your next investor, your next partner, your next mentor is literally waiting for you in the Rebellion. It just kind of takes you reaching out to them and connecting to them.
Yeah.
So highly recommend it.
That's huge. Tom, any last thoughts, my man?
I think we hit it all.
Yes, you did. You guys did
think
fantastic. Guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys. Listen, if somebody's not inspired after watching you guys they need to check their pulse. That's my personal opinion. You guys are rock stars, absolutely rock stars. Brian Grebian here in the chat called you a power couple, so own that.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, so big thank you to you guys. Appreciate everybody that tuned in today, whether it was today. We had a lot of people hanging out here with us today, but this is going to go out in a recording as well. So if you'd like to come hang out with me, I'd like to hear your story, and if you'd like to spotlight your story, let me know. If you'd like to come out with me and other like-minded storage investors, you can head over to my courses tab in the left-hand column of our network and come join us in the Storage Rebellion University. I'm going to give you some quick highlights, guys. This is my little pitch. I just want to make sure I throw out there for everything that you guys can get with this. A to Z Accelerator course is a training that breaks down specific steps of storage investing process, finding deals, funding, partnerships, due diligence, ownership, operations. And next you get access to the live monthly training calls. That's me. That's these rock stars right here. That's where we are once a month, usually second or third Wednesday of the month, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here in the network. We meet up, we break out into small groups. We talk about everything storage and life. It's a great time. So that's a huge part of this. And Caitlin, that's what you were talking about, that networking. I do hope people are taking advantage of. I think that magic happens in those breakout rooms and on the side, I completely agree. So next you'll get access to multiple group coaching calls. We do some live coaching. We do these spotlights. So imagine you're on your storage journey each month. And Caitlin, I know that you guys have reached out to me with questions. I know that I've had questions and issues that I've reached out to many people for. And I have not created a new problem in the self-storage industry. I've yet to do it. I've tried. So at this point, you're on your journey, but you're not alone, right? You have a problem, an issue, a question. You have no idea how to do it. The people are here, and that's the point of a community. That's a group of people that are willing to help raise each other up and find the answers that we're looking for. There's so much more in the Storage Rebellion University, guys. You can find it right there under my courses. I look forward to seeing you guys again. Caitlin and Tom, rock stars. Appreciate you very much. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
See you guys.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.